So you want to copy my ads? Well, let me tell you something. Copy them. Get yourself 228 appointments a month. You see, I grew my marketing agency to $2.7 million. I exited that agency. And what I'm about to show you over here is exactly what I did in order to grow my agency and feed my sales reps a bunch of appointments every single day where they were able to close out some months 37 new clients. All right. And I want you to be able to do the same and never be able to complain about ad costs going up, media buying strategy. I don't know what to do, or really my niche doesn't work. Okay. I did this with roofing contractors. And you could straight up do this with dentists, attorneys, med spas, chiros. You could straight up even do this with other agencies. All right. This freaking works because what I'm about to share over here is going to be fundamentals. All right. Principles. Because so many marketers out there are focusing on tactics and the next best ad and let me funnel hack and all this crap. I don't funnel hack. I make my own ideas. And what I'm about to share with you over here is going to allow you to do the same. So without further ado, let's dive right in over here, okay? So I'm gonna do this in a bit of a different way, all right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you the ads that I use, and this is just 2 ads of many, okay? And again, it's not about the actual ad, it's about the actual strategy and the principle over here. So I'm gonna read these to you, and then we're gonna go to the awareness pyramid because this is actually where the juice is at. So let me satisfy your hunger so that you can see the ads over here, all right? In this case over here, where I've sort of blanked it out of here, you can fill in your own blanks with your offer. So if your roofing company is doing over $500,000 a year and you'd like 50 new roof replacements every single month, then listen up. With our roof replacements on demand program, you'll get homeowners that are exclusive to your roofing business, ready for a tear off and full roof replacement, have cash and financing or claim money on hand, just a simple one-time setup fee, an ironclad guarantee of 50 roof replacements in 90 days or your money back. Want to get started on getting those roof replacements today? Tap learn more. It's that simple. Okay, so let's break down this ad over here for a second. What did I do over here? Firstly, what I want you to recognize is that whatever your promise is of outcome, that primary transformation that you are saying you're going to get your clients, then you want to put that over here. Okay, you want to put that over there. All right. The second thing, I'm just going to take my jacket off over here. I'm getting freaking worked up, man. Getting riled up over here. So what I want to explain, let me just put my microphone here. Okay, let me just hold it like this, dude. So over here, this is where you're going to say what your offer's unique name is. All right. So it could be the re-roofs on demand system. If you're working with dentists, it'll be like the dental implants revolution or the dental implants turbine, something that sounds a bit more sophisticated, I'd say. And then over here, what you're going to do is you're going to put in the actual benefits. Okay. These are going to be the benefits of what you provide, right? In our case, it's exclusive roofing jobs for your business because a lot of roofing contractors, they have shared leads, right? They pay other companies out there for the same lead, and then you have 5 contractors that show up at the door, and it's very frustrating for them. All right. It's going to be homeowners that are ready for a full tear off. A big pain that a lot of contractors have is that they don't want to work with homeowners that are just, window shopping and that aren't actually serious. So the last thing over here is have cash financing or claim money. So they also don't want to work with homeowners that are broke, right? So I'm addressing all these things by putting in the benefits over here. The next thing over here is I'm talking about what it really is. It's a one-time setup fee to install the system. And that's what's interesting about the system over here is that ultimately, after it's done, it's theirs to keep. All right, it's theirs to keep. They can keep it. So I'm making that clear. Whatever extra benefits or really irresistible things about your offer you can mention over here, then you mention them. And then I'm iterating that the risk reversal over here, there's a guarantee. And then I'm talking about reiterating what the big primary promise of transformation is, which is up over here. Get roof replacements, right? Every single month. Are you wanting to get started on getting these roof replacements today? Well, then here, do this. So this is the call to action, right? This is the last part of the actual ad. Now, here's what I want to say. What's very, very important over here, as you can see over here, is that you want to know what your clients are seeing, thinking, hearing, and saying. Why? Because when you know exactly what your clients are thinking, seeing, hearing, saying, in my case, I know roofing contractors, when they get up on a roof, this is what they see. I know that they don't like working with these companies. I know this is what they say they want. And I'm using it in their words. So you see how this is very, very powerful. If you know what your ideal prospect, what your ideal avatar is thinking, seeing, feeling, hearing all the time, that can be used in the ads to show that we're not just a bunch of amateurs. Okay, we know you. We know your pains. We know your problems. In fact, we've worked with hundreds of your colleagues. That can be expressed very, very deeply in very simple ways. Okay, I'm going to go to the next ad and then we're going to dive into the actual psychology of this because I'm just covering the surface right now. All right, this is a very different ad. Okay, this ad that we just went over, I'll say this as the final thing. This is what you call a direct ad. Okay, this is a direct ad. Now, if this was a direct ad, guess what the opposite of a direct ad is? You are right. It's a indirect ad. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I'll get into that in just 1 second, but let's just read through this ad copy real quick, and then we're going to dive into the difference between indirect and direct, when to use them, when not to use them, etc. So, ex-Army vet found the easiest way to get a consistent, 45 roof replacements the hard way. Once upon a time in rural Mississippi, a roofer discovered a system that allowed him to get more roofing jobs without dealing with issues like SEO, right? This is like pain points, right? We're dealing with pain point 1, pain point 2, without having to compete with other contractors, pain point 3. But before he discovered the system, right, his crew was waiting around for work, pain point 4. His sales guys would complain, pain point 5. He would spend 12 hours per day driving to homes to give estimates, only to get outbid by cheaper competitors. Pain point 6. I'm going deep on the pains. I'm showing the contractor, damn, I understand you, boy. And then after that, it's like, man, this was exhausting, right? More pain points. And then at this stage, we're getting more into solution now. It can't be so tough. And then he discovered a new way to get qualified homeowners. And then he was booked out months. This is like a big, big, big desire for contractors. Whatever the desire is in your niche, what they really, really want more than anything, right? More than, instead of articulating it as, oh, he made freaking bank and he got rich, let's articulate that differently and say he was booked months out and he was practically turning work down. That paints a picture, right? Rather than saying he got more roof replacements and he was making a lot of money, let's actually show them rather than telling them. He was booked months out and he was practically turning work down. And it's like, I know what you're thinking. There's no way, and I get it. But if you go to the next page, we'll actually show our system, break it down for you. And there's a short survey. So this is like what to expect. This is basically expectation setting, right, on what's going to happen, because a lot of people that are reading your ads, they don't know what's on the other side. They don't know that they should click through. There's a scarcity of time. They're worried. They don't know what to expect. So you want to make sure that the cost, right, the cost of doing this is very simple. The cost is very low in time. It's a short survey, right? There's no monetary commitment that you're making over here right now. And guess what? I'm going to guarantee you this. In many ways, right, we're basically reiterating the pains in the opposite fashion. Over here, we were talking about like guys waiting around, dealing with junk leads, having to worry about SEO. Now we're iterating this. It's like, hey, you can become the number one roofer in town without spending on paid ads, without SEO. Keep your guys busy. Don't deal with low tier homeowners. You see how we're flipping the problem on its head. And then ultimately we're saying that, hey, we are reiterating the promise again, that, hey, if you can do these jobs, this transformation that you want, we can get it for you. Tap, learn more. All right. If you look at the image over here now, it's very, again, indirect. And I'll explain what that means in a sec over here. But this is not saying that they're going to get these jobs. This is saying it's the truth about getting these jobs. So it creates a bit of mystery, creates a bit of intrigue. And a pro tip for you over here is that when people see the ad, they first actually look at the creative. They then look at the headline, and then they look at the copy. It's always in this order because this stands out first and the headline stands out next, and then they actually check out the copy. So I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to revisit this after I share with you why, and this is the key of this video, why I went ahead and actually made these ads this way. Okay, this is very, very important because everything is going to click in just a sec. So what I'm going to say is the following. There is a man named Eugene Schwartz that popularized the idea of a awareness pyramid. Okay, this is basically the awareness of all the people in your market. Okay, your total addressable market, your TAM. Okay, that may consist of, say, 100,000 or maybe a million people. Doesn't matter. Your total addressable market is this triangle. But guess what? Not every single person is as aware or as in the knowing of who you are, what you do, what problems you solve. And so the bottom of the triangle is the least aware of the lot. They're completely unaware. Think about it this way. Let's use a chiropractor as an example. Let's say there's a chiropractor that wants to sell a treatment plan, okay, of like 15 sessions over 15 weeks, and it's going to include x-rays. That's the product that he has. Well, guess what? There are more people out there that don't know about that than there are people that know about that. Just like there are more people out there in the world that don't know who you are versus people that know who you are. This makes sense, right? So completely unaware is always the largest percentage of the total addressable market. Remember that. And it's going to come in handy in a sec over here. Next, we go into problem aware. These are people in the industry that, in the market that know they have a problem. So let's go back to the chiropractor example. There are a certain percentage of people that know they have back pain, but they don't know that chiropractic is a solution. They just don't know. Now we can go towards solution aware, right? Solution aware would be, okay, I know that I could go with pharmaceuticals. I can, in other words, take drugs for this. I can go to the chiropractor. I can go to a physiotherapist. I can go do back surgery. I can stretch. I can do yoga. Do you see how all there's these different solutions? Now, what I want you to get over here is that there are more people that are unaware. There are slightly less people that are problem aware, slightly less people that are solution aware, and even less people that are product aware. I'll explain what this is in a sec. The pyramid segments are shrinking as we're going up because there are less and less people as you go towards the top. Product aware individuals would be people that actually know that, okay, chiropractic is what I want to go with, and I know who the different chiropractors in the area are. I know there's Dr. Bob, there's Dr. Stinson, there's Dr. Barry, there's Dr. Drew, there's all these different doctors, and they all have a different thing that they do, something that makes them special. Okay? And most aware are basically people that have more or less made the decision that, you know what, they want to go with a solution of your kind, with whatever you offer. And they just need something to kind of get pushed over the edge. Maybe a special offer, maybe a special deal. But they pretty much know they have back pain. They know they want to go with chiro. They know they want to go with a chiro that is going to offer them x-rays. They just are looking for the right timing or the right, price. So do you see how there would actually be less people that are aware, most aware, and more people that are completely unaware? When we are at the top of the pyramid, okay, it is easier to close, right? Easier to close, but it is less people. So the population is smaller. And on the other side of the pyramid, it's the opposite problem. It is hard to close them because you've got to basically bring them up to speed on who you are, but the population is massive. Like, I'm talking really massive. Okay, there's a big percentage of your audience, your niche, that just don't even know you exist. So herein lies the principle on how we actually advertise. Because the facts are that this is a spectrum. There are basically dozens of stages of awareness between each of these as well. And I don't want to get too advanced over here, maybe a different training in a future time. But here's what I want you to get, something very, very simple over here. Okay, and now I'm typing with one hand, okay? At the top of the spectrum, when you are going for most aware, this is the opposite. When you're going for the least aware, you're going to go with indirect ads. And when you're at the most aware, you're going to go with direct ads. Let me explain this to you in a sec. Indirect ads are ads like this over here, okay? With a percentage of the population that are just completely unaware, or maybe let's just say they're problem aware, right? This ad that I showed you up there, it wasn't a completely unaware. It's more of like a problem aware audience. If I'm going to go after a problem aware audience and I'm like, hey, get more roof jobs, they're going to be like, whoa, hold on a second. They don't even know that they necessarily have a problem. So that's why I point out the problem to them. I point out the problem that they have ineffective ads. They're being ripped off by companies selling them junk leads. They're having to compete with other contractors. Like, wait, hold on a second. That's a problem. I didn't know that was a problem. Wait, that is a problem. So we're taking them through the stages of awareness. We're taking them from problem over to solution. You see that? And then from solution, we're basically telling them that, yo, we have a system that can help you get the results. So now we're taking them to product aware. And then we're telling them that, yo, we have a guarantee. Right? You see how we're differentiating ourselves now from the competition by saying we have a guarantee, by saying that we're different, and saying that, hey, we get it. We don't want you to have your guys wait around. We don't want you to have to, be the second or the third roofer. We don't want you to spend a fortune on paid ads. You see that? So we took them from problem aware all the way to pretty much product aware. I'm not going to say they're going to be the most aware by the end of reading one ad, but when they click through, guess what? They're going to see more things about the product, the offer, and they're going to learn more, and they'll become more and more aware, and then they'll book a call. So do you see how an ad like this, also where it's not going directly into, hey, get jobs, it's going a bit indirect. It's saying, hey, it's the truth about getting these jobs. Maybe these individuals know they want to get more jobs. They know they have a problem, but they don't know what the truth about it is. They don't know how to actually get it. So we're going to give them the truth. Again, they check this out first and they see the headline and then they go to the actual copy. I hope this is kind of making sense over here because, as we get to the most aware population, now we're going to get into what you would call straight up an offer ad. Okay. In this case over here, we're calling out the contractor, we're qualifying them and saying, hey, if you're doing over 500K, that's a hook, right? This isn't necessarily a hook is going to be a hook in every single ad. You want to get something that makes them want to continue reading. Okay. So in the hook afterwards, we're saying, hey, if you want to get this much jobs, then listen up. With our homeowners, you can get this, this, and this. And then this is what the system entails. This isn't a most aware ad. This is more of like a product or solution aware ad. Okay, a most aware ad would pretty much literally just be, hey, if you want to go with Hamza's roofing agency, I'm going to get you more jobs. 50% off for the next 5 contractors, click below. That'd be the most, just straight up making an offer. But this over here, there's a little bit more finesse. We want to go a little bit more broad, a little bit more indirect. And so that's why we're going with an ad like this. But you can get really, really direct with these kind of ads, man. You can basically, as I said, straight up say, get 25 dental implants next month, guaranteed, all your money back, plus $1,000 check, and we'll mail it to you. Click the link below. That's a very direct offer. I'm not saying you should go with something like that, but all I'm saying is that now you have the framework, and this is where we got to ask ourselves, and I had to ask myself, and I have to ask myself every single time, okay, where is my audience? And here's a little tip for you over here. This, I found, is generally the best pocket to go after, okay? Reason being that it's a pretty big size, but since they're already problem aware, it's a lot easier to move them up, or solution aware, it's a lot easier to move them up than it is completely unaware. Yes, this is the biggest chunk of the audience, but man, it can be tough to bring someone into awareness. It's kind of like someone in your family that has anger issues, or has an issue with drinking, or has some other problem that they're not addressing. You've tried everything and everything and everything, but they just won't budge. They just won't move. They won't even admit that they have a problem. That's literally what it's like sometimes. But this is where the profits are made, man. If you can figure out how to do this by writing some really darn good copy that really makes them think deeper about life in some way or some aspect of life, then they can move into problem aware. And this over here, and I'll just tease over here, this over here really comes down to what you would call big ideas. Okay? This over here comes down to big ideas. And I'll cover this in another training in the future, but this is what it is. Like, in order to go after this segment of the audience, you need big, novel ideas. You would start off by talking about something that they weren't probably even expecting to read about. Okay, there are copywriters out there that have basically made the connection between UFOs, all right, and stock trading. That's how deep this goes. And I can cover that kind of stuff in the future if you want it. Leave a comment below. But really, this is the most important thing. And I hope this was helpful. I really, really just want to iterate over here that and what I did, man, and what I did really well in my agency before I exited is that I was religiously studying my demographic. Let me just make myself bigger over here. I was religiously studying my demographic. Okay. I was religiously getting on sales calls, or then thereafter listening to my salespeople on their sales calls. And I was just picking up on small little details that the avatar was talking about, that the roofing contractors were saying, to the point where they have certain terminology, slang, which, man, if you know that slang, put it in your copy, use it in your video ads. Okay. I was using terminology like, hey, are you tired of dealing with, 3-tab neighborhoods? Now, 3-tab neighborhood is basically a neighborhood that uses on their roofs a 3-tab roof shingle, which is a material used on roofs. And that's the lowest quality roof. That's like the bare minimum. They don't want to be in 3-tab neighborhoods. They want to be in neighborhoods where they use metal roofs, for example, or maybe an architectural shingle. Do you see how much I know about the industry? And guaranteed there's jargon, there's industry insights that exist in your space that you could be leveraging, that your competitors aren't leveraging, that you should absolutely use to create more affinity, right? Affinity is this feeling that a part of your demographic gets where, man, this guy gets me. And that's the craziest thing about affinity. Let me share with you over here for a second. It doesn't make any sense, and it really shouldn't be this way. But the fact that I could come to you and say to you that I run an agency, I used to cold call people, eat crap for 6 months, and then when I closed my first high ticket deal where I asked for their credit card number and then it finally went through, I felt like on top of the world, but I also felt guilty because I was like, man, am I going to follow through and am I going to deliver on this? There's only a select few of people, other marketing agency owners, that can actually relate to that. And that's why, if you're watching this right now, even up until this point, like 22 minutes in, there's affinity that we're creating right now. And therefore, if I say, use these ads, these are going to work for you, you're way more likely to listen to me than freaking your neighbor, even if your neighbor is like starting off and he's saying the right things. But because I've done this, because I can relate to you, because I've shared myself, maybe if you're watching this right now, you're a brown dude or you're East Asian or something, like, there's so many things that affinity does that it makes us more trustworthy, is what I'm trying to say. And people will listen just because someone looks like them, someone sounds like them, someone has the same childhood experience as them. So why wouldn't we leverage that in our ads? We should leverage that. Otherwise, all our ads are vanilla. And here's the crazy thing. That's where the uniqueness comes, because I found over time that when roofing contractors were buying our program, our system, they weren't really even buying the system. They were buying me because they saw something in me that they believed in. They saw something within me that they related to. And that's very, very powerful. And I would highly recommend that. And on a last note over here, yes, it's important to use freaking, images and everything. But as you can see over here, I was also using video ads. Okay. Mix them up, because what Facebook does is that it knows who is more likely to respond to video. It knows who's more likely to respond to image. And if all you're running is image ads, Facebook is not going to show those image ads to the users that have a higher propensity and likelihood to respond to video, right? Because Facebook, if you think about it, it wants to create the best possible experience for its audience. It doesn't want people to leave. That's the same thing with YouTube, TikTok. That's why they want to make it addictive. And how Facebook makes it addictive is by showing its people, when they're scrolling through, content that they want to continue reading and watching. So the number one thing that I could do was, again, create content that was relevant, use affinity, give them that jargon, talk about what really matters to them, and address the audience where they are in that spectrum of awareness, but then also use video and use image, right? So with every ad that we create, we use video and we use image. And, ultimately, here's one more thing that I'll share, man. I want to make this as valuable as possible. Bro, if this is valuable, please drop a comment. Let me know. I love making these videos. I love giving value over here. I want to share with you. Oh, and by the way, man, I almost forgot. If you want my ad copy templates, I actually have a school community. Just check this out over here. But nonetheless, okay. So when I launch ads, oh man, I always freaking do this. Okay, I always do this. This is like the media buying. Dude, I'm just gonna put this mic on me. I've been holding this for a while. I hope my beard doesn't freaking mess it up. Okay, so this is the media buying protocol. Okay, this is what you're gonna do. This is what you're gonna do. All right. So how we media buy with this, generally speaking, I'm not going to get too deep into this. And if you want more information, as I said, go to the school community. We can always touch base. We can chat. But this is like very surface level. Okay. In your campaign, your ad set budget campaign, do not use CBO, campaign budget optimization, when you're first launching new ideas and sort of new ads. What I like doing is I like having, an ad set, whatever your audience is, whether it's broad, whether you want to go after a custom list. These are different audiences, by the way. Whether you want to go for a lookalike audience, whether you want to go for an interest-based audience. The main thing that I wanted to share with you is the actual ad structure. Okay, after you choose your ad set, in the ad level, what you want to do is you want to run dynamic ads. Okay, and in the dynamic ads, you're going to use 2 headlines, you're going to use 2 pieces of primary text or copy, and you're going to use 3 creatives. Okay, let me break this down. This is the most important part of what I want to share with you over here. Because we don't know what kind of an idea is going to work best, we want to go with dynamic. I generally don't like using dynamic because the tracking on it, when it comes to how many appointments booked, how many leads booked, which actual asset, like which headline with which copy with which creative actually got the leads and appointments, it's kind of finicky. But it's very good to start testing, and I'll tell you why. Because Facebook takes its own combination and its own AI and figures out which headline or which copy or which creative is going to work best. And here's the thing: I will always, in the headline section, I will use one indirect and I'll use one direct headline. Okay, a direct headline would be get 24 to 45 roof replacements next month. An indirect headline would be the truth about the top roofing contractors. Okay, see, it's indirect. It's not saying directly what the offer is. Same thing with copy. I will use an indirect piece of copy and a direct piece of copy. And then the creatives, I'll pretty much do the same, right? One indirect image, one direct image, and then one of them is going to be a direct ad video, a video ad, direct video. Right? Always freaking get in front of the camera or hire a spokesperson and freaking go for it. Make something that's very direct. Like, hey, roofing contractors, you want 24 to 45 appointments next month? Then, dude, you got to check this out, because our system has gotten John and Rick and Bobby, more roof replacements guaranteed. And guess what? If we don't perform, we don't get paid. Then what you want to do is click the link below, survey on the other side. Super direct. And what happens is that we're basically covering, see what we're doing over here? We're covering pretty much as much of the spectrum as we possibly can. Because in this case over here, a indirect image with an indirect copy actually worked with a direct headline. I didn't show the headline over here, but the headline was get more roofing jobs. So Facebook's AI can figure that out for you. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to help you have the biggest chance of having a successful idea. Because the opposite of this would be to basically figure out, one type of image or video, one type of copy, one type of headline, and then what if it doesn't work? And then you're like, oh, my idea sucked. But that's not the case. So we want to try to always create one idea, and then around that idea, create 2 headlines, one indirect, direct, 2 pieces of copy, indirect, direct, and then obviously creatives that are both indirect and direct as well. And then that's going to give you the best chance at success. Depending on what your cost per lead is, I generally like to launch my ads at 150 to 200 a day. Because, generally speaking, I'm willing to spend this much for one appointment. So I want to see one appointment coming in a day. And then generally speaking, once I start seeing some traction, I will scale up my spend no more than 25% every 48 hours, excuse me. All right, that's how I run the show. Again, I wish I could cover more. This is like a 30-minute video now. I love giving value. Join the community if you want to reach out to me personally. But genuinely, I hope this helped you. This is and was my strategy to get a bunch of appointments that then turns into a lot of deals. Much love. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.